Okay, so I just received some confirmation that Trump will be speaking most likely at 11:36 a.m. New York time, which coincides with the twinkling of an eye, sundown, 6:36 p.m. Israel time, which kicks off Feast of Trumpets. Okay, so really quickly, Feast of Trumpets this year is going to land almost 100%, if not 100%, on September 23rd and 24th. All right, so that's the first thing we need to establish here. On September 22nd, when the sun goes down at 6:38 p.m. on Israel time, the sun or the moon will not be spotted. Therefore, Feast of Trumpets will begin on September 23rd and 24th at sundown, automatically. Okay, at that time, Trump is estimated to be speaking. And I'm going to go through that in just a second, how I arrived at that conclusion, which further confirms this timeline. Is Trump the last Trump? What is his role in the last Trump? Okay, so first thing I want to do is establish that we are looking at a probably 100% Feast of Trumpets on September 23rd and 24th. And basically, I found this at Devorah's date tree. Is a Hebrew calendar keeper, and they have 25 plus years of experience. They are commonly the, out of two witnesses that spot the new moon, they are habitually the, or consistently the first witness of spotting the new moon. So you can see they've been doing this for years. That's all their posts of spotting the new moon. This year, in spotting the 6th month's new moon, they made a prediction for Tishri 1, which is Feast of Trumpets. So this year, the Feast of Trumpets, according to Devorah's date tree, when the crescent moon is spotted by the naked eye at the end of the 29th day, but had very low stats, it will be impossible to spot it at the end of the 29th day of the following biblical month, September 22nd, 2025. This means that the upcoming 7th biblical calendar will begin on September 23rd, 2025 by default. Okay, so we've established that Feast of Trumpets this year will land on September 23rd, based on the new moon that will not be sighted on September 22nd. Okay, so moving on from there, Feast of Trumpets starts exactly sundown, 6:36 p.m. Israel time. Okay? Now, how does that line up with Trump speaking at the UN at the very moment of sundown, the twinkling of an eye, possibly confirming? I'm not saying he's going to confirm it. I don't know. I don't know what role he plays in it. All I know is that there's something to do with the last Trump and a covenant being signed in the UN this year. So this year, the UN meetings is on September 23rd, 2025. It starts at 9 a.m. New York time to 3 p.m. New York time, or 4 p.m. Israel time to 10 p.m. Israel time. So you could see from 4 to 10 p.m. that lands, sundown lands right pretty much in the middle of that. All right, so during this UN meeting, it's going to be sundown, and the Feast of Trumpets will start exactly 11:36 p.m. Or sorry, 11:36 a.m. September 23rd. Okay, so will Trump be speaking, or will he be holding the podium at that moment? Okay, let's dig into this. So what I found on Wikipedia, okay, this is the source. General debate of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Here's all the info you can look for yourself. Here's a list of speakers. All right, for the morning session, that's the one we're looking at. So the morning session, we are looking right here. The first speaker is the UN Secretary General, President of the General Assembly, then followed by Brazil, then followed by President Donald Trump. So he's the fourth speaker. So if it's going to go from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. New York time, it's going to be pretty early on there. So, okay. So now, although there's no schedules given at what time they speak, there's information regarding how long each speaker takes and when all this will happen. So I typed in and I asked ChatGPT some questions and it gave me this information. So at the UN General Assembly, general debate, each speaker is officially allotted 50 minutes to deliver their statement. However, in practice, many heads of state and government go well beyond 15 minutes, sometimes 20 to 40 minutes. All right, and we know Trump's speeches usually last over an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours. Okay, so there's that. And then the UN does not usually cut off a speech, but they do encourage leaders to keep within the limits so all scheduled speakers can be heard. The President of the General Assembly reminds delegates of the time limit at the start. So while Trump is scheduled 4th on September 23rd, the actual time he begins depends on how long the earlier speakers, Brazil, Secretary General, etc. go. The session is scheduled to start around 9 a.m. New York time. The opening formalities, I guess that's Secretary General and President of General Assembly speeches typically take 20 to 30 minutes before Brazil takes the podium. So Brazil is always first, from what I know. Now, here's the estimate. So realistically, the first national leader, Brazil's President Lula, will likely start speaking around 9:30. Since Trump is fourth, depending on how Lula and the two leaders before him go, his speech will probably start around 10:15 to 10:45. So if he starts at 10:15, and let's say his speeches could go anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, we're looking at 10:15 to 12:15. Trump will be speaking there, and which falls. So the earliest time, 10:15. If it, let's say, min to max, 2 hours, 12:15. So that fits in the 11:36 a.m. twinkling of an eye time. And then let's say estimate he starts at 10:45. That means max he can finish at 12:45. Let's say. So anyways, these times, this estimate fits well within the 11:36 a.m. New York time, which coincides with 6:36 p.m. Israel time, the twinkling of an eye, which starts Feast of Trumpets. So what is going on here, guys? I don't know what Trump's role is in this. I'm neutral when it comes to Trump now. I don't know, but the fact that his name is Trump and he's speaking at this time, something is going on there. All right, guys, this is crazy how all this is lining up perfectly. Okay, so I just want to play a couple clips here. What's Trump going to be speaking about this UN meeting?
UN next week? You're going to the UN?
I'll be at the UN. I'll be making a speech, yes.
And are you meeting any other world leaders?
Many of them.
Many.
Who are you meeting, Mr. President?
Well, I'm meeting
Syria,
them. They're being
Zelensky.
set up.
What is your goal from attending that meeting? What do you hope to get out of it?
World peace. Nobody's done a better job than I've done on world peace. Nobody's set.
Okay, did you catch that? He said how many world leaders? That key word there?
Syria,
They're being
Zelensky.
set up.
What is your goal?
Many of them.
Many of them. Okay, so let's back up here. Many of them. He will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. Now, I don't know if it's him going to confirm it or what, but Trump is definitely playing some sort of part in this. Okay, so there's that word many. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit too here. We may have the first evidence of a 7-year peace deal. I'm going to show you that right now. Now, I saw this clip a few weeks ago, but didn't know what to do with it because here's a guy named Daniel Sheehan who seems to have inside information about geopolitical, economic reshaping of the world that's going to take place over 7 years. So let's listen to him say that. And Trump is involved.
People. Okay, and anything else is going to be submitted to a 9-person panel to to be appointed by the president. And that panel is not only to go through it and decide what else to release right away, but they're going to set up a 7-year program called the UAP Controlled Disclosure Campaign Plan to release all of this information over the next 7-year period so that we can adjust our economic systems, our geopolitical structures, our domestic political structures to try to accommodate the fact that we now are aware of the fact that there's an extraterrestrial civilization surrounding us.
So this.
Okay, guys, so there you have it. This guy just said that they're working on a 7-year plan to restructure everything globally. And they're going to fit in this alien disclosure into that plan. So whatever they're working on, it's a 7-year restructuring plan to restructure everything globally. All right, is this going to be what's unveiled on September 23rd when Trump goes up to speak? I don't know, but it's all lining up, guys. So there's the 7-year covenant possibly being talked about there, or parts of it. World peace, Trump. Okay, so here's the duality here. On September 23rd, sundown, 6:36 p.m. Israel time, Feast of Trumpets starts. Okay, when that starts, the meeting will be going on, and at that very moment, it's going to be 11:36 a.m. New York time, 6:36 p.m. Israel time. 6:36 p.m. Israel time coincides with, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, sunset at the last trump. Does that have something to do with Trump here? For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Daniel 9:27. So meanwhile, in New York, a Daniel 9:27 covenant. He will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. Okay, and then I just want to go over one last thing about the Strongs related to 636 and 1136. That was found in my other video, but anyone that hasn't watched that, I'll just go over it really quickly here. 6:36 p.m. Israel time, at the twinkling of an eye, it means to sail away in the Strongs. Depart by ship, set sail. Meanwhile, in New York, 11:36 a.m., while Trump is speaking, Strong's 1136, of Hebrew origin, Gog, a symbolic name for some future Antichrist, Gog. Okay, now I'm not saying Trump is. I don't know. What part he will play into it, I don't know. Someone else could sign the covenant. He could. I don't know. Anyways, guys, just got to get that information out there that things are lining up like never before. God bless.